We would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands on which we meet, the Gadigal Aboriginal clan, and pay respect to Aboriginal elders, both past and present. In my opinion, Vic Cherikoff is an Australian living treasure with his imposing figure, his deep voice and his encyclopedia of knowledge that was exactly the bolt out of the blue that I needed to sit up and take notice of my own attitude towards food and nutrition, and equally that of my family. Now, like you at home, I'd have my reservations about the taste, the price, and therefore the value that it would have in my life. But once I had to hear what Vic had to say, my fears were extinguished. It was no longer a matter of why I wouldn't partake in this product, but how soon I would. Now, good food is good food, bad food is bad food, and I think we can all tell the difference. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Now, today's program is the beginning of an amazing adventure. Our journey, which we're going to embark upon together, I think, at some stage in all of our lives, when we're actually deciding that we're ready to do that. And that's the point. Now that you're here, why don't you come along with us? With me here today is the gorgeous and saucy pickle Steve Milne. Hello,
Thank you, Nikki. I'm really excited to be here because life is, the key's in the title, right? We've got one life, we live once, and it's all about nutrition, how we look after ourselves. This product, I think a lot of you at home are going to be able to relate to and are really going to be able to get into your routine. It's going to be a great way to feel good, look good. To find out more, listen to Vic Cherikoff to get started.
Cherikoff is a Russian name. I was born in Australia from parents who were born in China and grandparents who literally walked across from Moscow through Siberia to escape the revolution. So I have a food background which is a mix of Russian, of Chinese, of about 4 different areas in China, and obviously Australian, and going out there with the Aborigines puts a whole new food slant on it. I had a background in clinical pharmacology, which is really interesting also in terms of an understanding of modern foods, because so many foods, I mean, a lot of people do feel better when they eat a dish that's maybe prepared with love and great organic ingredients, and it doesn't matter where they come from around the world. And that feeling of wellness reflects the nutritional quality and also reflects the way our brain responds to certain chemicals, these plant phytochemicals, phytonutrients as exhibited, and also the bugs in our gut react to what we're eating. So yeah, look, the whole concept of food and medicine blurs the more we know.
The concept of food and medicine. Well, welcome to life. We're excited. The antidote to modern food that we're going to explore in this next half hour. 65,000 years in the making, $89.95. And you are going to, well, for $90, that works out at $3 a serve because you have 30 serves in here. Is it right that you're going to feel the way you feel right now? Do you think that's your normal? It doesn't have to be. And just a simple thing like half a teaspoon a day could really make a difference, Steve.
Yes, it's all about the food that you eat, and it's all about the nutrition that we need to get. Life is going to help you guys. This is a moment for you to get something that you can add alongside your existing diet. We're not asking you to change things around. We're saying try this one out, add it to your diet, and look and feel better. This is a really exciting chance for lots of you watching today. It's all about food, and he knows all about the food. Have a look at this.
Getting into the food industry and marketing wild foods to chefs, I then got onto a judging panel for the Restaurant and Caterers Association here in Sydney, and I would go out and do the fine dining judging, and it took about a year, or in fact I think I did it 2 years in a row, and I put on a huge amount of weight. So suddenly you're eating great food, it's a real sensuous experience, it's sensory experience to the nth degree, but it's not good for you. And so in a way, nutrition then, I knew then I had to do something. I basically quit as a judge and then got into really how can we use nutrition to drive our body's biochemistry to not only feel better, but to really to stay sharper, to think more quickly, to stay focused and able to concentrate, to have energy when you need it, and also in many ways reverse the aging. I love to say, look younger, feel better, and age more slowly.
Look younger, feel better, have energy when you need it. It all makes sense. I mean, the man is an absolute encyclopedic wealth of knowledge. You can join us today on 132580. Go to openshop.com.au and pick up your 30 servings of life for just $89.95. The item numbers on the screen here, 300015, and be on your way to take, it's just, as I said, that one small step. It doesn't have to be something radical. You don't have to go raw vegan overnight, but it's just remembering that perhaps our food is not as diverse as it needs to be. We're not getting the nutrients from our regular food, and this is something that's just going to give us that little boost.
Tell me, so how did Vic get all of his knowledge with all of this? How did he get all of this knowledge, and how does he know what he knows?
He is highly qualified. You know, he's actually a doctor in his field.
Yes.
He has studied for over 30 years. He has the most incredible credentials, and that's why we trust Vic Cherikoff. But if you've never heard from him before, then welcome to him.
Well, I mean, I had the science degree. I had a triple degree. I covered environmental biology, which sort of helped me identify plants that I was eating. I did industrial micro, which also helps in sort of food safety processes and even in some of the ingredients in life, for example. And then I did biochemistry, which is really the elements of the biochemical basis of food and eating. So yeah, I was able to lean on all of those areas of professional expertise and worked in clinical pharmacology, worked in nutrition science of wild foods, and then by applying them to the food, I had to go out and start teaching chefs my version of why to use these new foods, because most chefs are trained in a particular cuisine. You might know how to cook French food, you might know regional Chinese food, you might know whatever ancestry or ethnic background you like. But when you're presented with a whole cultures, in fact many subgroups of a culture of Australian food. I mean, there were 600 languages spoken, dialects and languages in this country. There was about 250 different clans, and they all had their own cuisine. So I found the wild foods from a whole host of them, presented them to chefs, and they just had no idea what to do with them. And so what I had to do is essentially say, well, what's in the food that is key? What's the baseline, the empirical formula that's going to allow any chef from any cuisine and cooking background in the world to take a food that they've never discovered before and lock it in and use it effectively in a dish. And so I then, even in my book, I cover things like 13 tastes in food. And once you know that, it's key to unlocking the flavour of any. You can taste a Davidson plum, you need to know it's sour, it's got a real mouth cleaning feel. Being sour, you know that you can complement it with sweet, and it goes on and on. So effectively, I then had to teach my concept of eating and tasting food and the science of that to then how to prepare the dishes. From then on, the nutrition really has taken about 30 years to catch up in a way, and what we've been doing with wild foods is still 5 to 10 years ahead of where nutritional science is today in terms of reporting in the general media.
I think it's really interesting what he's saying there, that all of these different cultures, regardless of whatever the culture is and the cuisine is, that essentially the nutrients, the micronutrients, the essential nutrients have been bred out of the foods.
Yeah.
And yet we've got a product here that has got all of those essential nutrients in it that have literally sustained the oldest living civilization since evolution, basically.
And this is a great thing because whatever you eat, whatever your diet is, whatever cuisine you like at home, whether you prefer to go more down the vegetables or you like to go for certain meats and whatnot, this alongside your existing diet is going to be able to let you enjoy your existing food, but then get the nutrients that have been lost. And it's just something that's been happening over the years, and we're talking many, many years, with all the food that's been processed and changed and whatnot. So great chance for you to get this. So is it time to try this? Should we get into it?
Yeah, he's keen. Don't you want to know exactly what is so unique about it?
I do.
Let's take a look at this.
I'd be looking at, there's an acacia resin in there, which we've done a whole lot of work at Sydney University, following on from work that was done in the US with a number of universities, having given them access to these native Australian flavours, or in plants essentially, way back in the late 1980s. And they were planted in Arizona in an arboretum. They were then discovered, and then that unlocked a whole plethora of research projects. The Kakadu or Kalari plum is another. We often talk about these little green fruit, which we only just in a way reintroduced Aboriginal people to eating them again, because I found these in 1983 and analysed them, and then also we published a paper showing that the science that we used to prove that this is the world's highest vitamin C fruit was in actual fact correct, because we were moving from an old type of analysis methodology into the new. So again, there's so much that this whole wild food industry has brought and carried along. It's also reintroduced many Aboriginal clans and families to eat this stuff again. So I'd certainly want some of these. The rainforest lime has got these limonoids in, and I mean there's whole books written on these phytonutrients. Illawarra plum, spectacular antioxidant supply.
Gosh, it's just the diversity of the ingredients, the rainforest lime, the Kakadu plum, the Kwandong, it's all in, it excites you.
Excites us, and Nikki and I were just saying right then, watching that, you know, it's exciting to get this into your system and to enjoy it, simply because it's going to do so much for you. It all makes sense. We know all this within reason. It's kind of all very obvious, but it's just great to hear it and to have it already packaged and sorted for you. Shall we try some now?
Oh, absolutely. Now, there are different ways that you can take it. You could do like a heaped teaspoon and pop it into your almond milk, your coconut milk or water. But to get a real taste, tongue tingle, I like to call it, what you would do is I'd take half a spoonful, and I'm going to eat it raw.
Right.
And
and then nice.
A spoonful of good sugars
helps
the water go down.
I love it.
It feels like sherbet. It pops in your mouth. It's so tasty, so tasty.
And you've taken it really good. I'm going to put mine into my drink. I'm going to put mine into my drink, and then I'm going to give it a bit of a stir. And then look, you can do it either way. So there we go. Look at that, just turns into a lovely drink, which is great.
It's actually really palatable straight off the spoon, and I think Vic always obsesses that.
Here we go.
With the absorption. But what do you think?
Yeah. It's got almost like a peppery, spicy feel to it because of the ingredients.
It's sweet and sour.
It's got a sweet and sour, that's it. So I'm getting one little kick of sweetness, and then I'm getting a kick of the kind of spiciness as well.
It's so palatable, those two.
Yeah, it's really, really drinkable. Again, we've put this in a drink. You've just taken yours with raw. You could add this to your shakes and things if you wanted to, but it's up to you completely.
Now, there are 26 ingredients in here. 14 of them are indigenous to Australia. The other 12 superfoods have been sourced from around the world. This is power in a teaspoon right here. Let's hear more about the diversity of foods.
We need to, today, increase the variety of our foods dramatically, increase the freshness of those foods as well, so that they're not picked, you know, after the season and then stored chilled and then sold off month after month so that we've got food 24/7. We use the softest, most gentle processing, which is freeze drying, which is used to keep enzymes alive for brewer's yeast and baker's yeast. It's used for vaccines, it's used for whole blood now. So it's a very soft, gentle, just add water and you've got the whole thing back again. So the more foods we add to the diet, the better balanced is going to be our biochemistry, and we're not overloading or polluting any particular pathways. And we can get rid of these silly concepts of things like detoxing. I mean, our body detoxes every time we breathe. We get rid of toxins. Our liver and kidney and most of our lymphatic system is all about detoxing. So there's all these concepts that do need changing. The best and easiest way to do it is to eat what you eat now. You're used to it. Add in good nutrition, and for me that's wild food and some other select foods, and then let the changes in your microbiome and also in your brain determine how you then change your diet through nutritional drives, basically, desire for better quality food. And that happens naturally, so you don't need willpower.
You know, a lot of these kind of health kicks that you sometimes hear about, you've got to blend them, you've got to basically mix them in a certain way. Nikki and I obviously just took it very quickly with a glass of water, and it made it really simple and easy. So you don't need the blenders, you can just do it yourself really quickly, which I think is fantastic and simple. It makes it quicker as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, when did you discover about that your health needed attention?
So I guess I just got to the point where I kind of felt maybe I wasn't being able to run as far as I wanted to, or I didn't look as good as I wanted to, or literally feel as good as I wanted to. I wanted to basically feel good and feel better and not get tired. So I would go to the gym and I would try and eat well. But I was saying this to you earlier, Nikki, I'm all or nothing. And I kind of found myself working out, look, I've got to try and get the balance between living a busy life and doing lots of things. 8 bottles of gin. Try and bring it down to at least 7. I'm joking.
But that's what Vic's saying. Yeah. You can still do what you do, but you start to layer up the goodness and add the good nutrition, and eventually, you're there. We all know what good food is, and we all know what bad food is. But you know what? Sometimes it's hard to step off that actual spiral. I know. I've been there. I'm all or nothing as well. I got a really bad health scare about 10 years ago, and I went raw vegan. That was it for 6 months. All or nothing. And then I'll go the other way and have, bad foods, because I'm an emotional eater. It's about finding that balance. We know instinctively, what's good for us and what's not. And you can eat organic and you can eat locally sourced and in season. It still might not be enough because we don't have the diversity. If you actually break it down, we probably only eat maybe 6, 8, 10 different foods in a week instead of foraging on 26 different foods. So it's just about making that little difference.
Yes.
You don't have to be all or nothing like me or Steve. I think we've both learned that you meet in the middle.
Absolutely.
And you find that balance. And it's never too late.
It isn't too late. And I think I'm getting better there. And that's another thing to remember as well. Maybe you've had a diet that's been a certain way for a long, long time. You're thinking, oh, what's the point now? You can never, ever do it too late. You can add this to your existing diet already, which is why I love it. So basically, you can try it alongside your existing diet. You have to change things too much, and you'll see some results. You'll get excited over it, and then you can see that you want to do more with your life, which is great. $89.95 is the price for this one, which is fantastic. You can call us on 132580 or go to openshop.com.au. Tap the app, and we've got free delivery as well. This is a great way that you can help yourself get better, look better, and feel better. And it's easy. You can have the drink like you just saw with me and Nikki, and you can basically add it to your existing diet, which is why I love it. I always thought that I had to be either super, super, super healthy or there was just no point. And as Nikki and I were just saying, why not introduce this into your existing lifestyle with your existing diet? And very slowly, you probably start to see the results, and then you'll start to look better and feel better. And it's easy and simple.
Do you seek health and longevity? I'm going to ask you one question. What price do you put on your health?
What's the price? What price do you put on your time on this planet? For me, I'd rather go without some dessert that's, or fancy chocolates, or even, the most expensive wine or whatever. Forego those, because they're not doing you any good, and you can drink them in smaller quantities if you have to, or partake in smaller amounts. I want something that's underpinning my nutrition the whole way, and simply getting the benefits of being able to lose weight and keep it off, being able to feel energetic and energized and thinking clearly from the mental health or mental energy as much as physical energy.
Thinking clearly, mental energy as well as physical energy, that is really, really important. When you wake up with a foggy brain every morning and you think that's normal, that's not normal. If you've just tuned in, we are talking about life. This is an amazing reincarnation of some of the most powerful, potent superfoods. In fact, life is a resource. It is not just a food, but it's a food made up of a plethora of choice, what's the word? Wild foods.
Yeah.
It's organically grown superfoods that we've got in here, known not only for their immense nutritional value, but also for the unique combination that we've got in there of taste and flavours. Now, whilst we already know of the immense value to any lifestyle, today's show is all about so much more. It is about connection to the land. It's about discovery and meeting one man who's devoted his entire life towards literally foraging for these incredible ingredients, for the foods that we know that we desire, but we can never find. Literally, it truly is, I believe, the beginning of the journey of the rest of your life. And this is with Dr. Vic Cherikoff.
You know, it's a great opportunity to help yourself. And you might be thinking as well, why do I feel tired? You know, I don't feel like I look that good. You know, this is an opportunity to try something that could give you some great health benefits. The science is there. You know, Vic knows all about what he's talking about, and we've seen some great results, which is fantastic, and you could benefit as well. Let's learn more about what's in life.
The thing that life offers is a variation or a variability or an injection of foods that you just wouldn't find in the first instance, but also it adds 14 wild foods, you know, one or two which you might find, but then all year, maybe not. But here's a constant supply of these 14 wild foods, and they're selected, again, we can get into that a little bit later, but the selection of the wild foods is absolutely critical as well. They had to be the best of the best. There's also another, you could group it as 13, but in actual fact there's over 20 different ingredients that are not wild. One of them is in fact wild from South America, which is the acai. But there's other whole foods that come from places like Tasmania, where there's a hole in the ozone layer, and the black currants that they grow there have got the highest antioxidant capacity of any black currants anywhere else on the planet, even New Zealand just up the road and across the pond, but certainly when you look over to either South America or even into Europe, you know, we're getting the best of the best here. So you can't even find those easily because of it's a commercial supply for us. And then we pick, you know, grape seed and grape skins, again, which are delivering resveratrol that we all know we need, and that's coming in through the wild foods. So every ingredient in life has been chosen for, I mean, it's had to earn its place, from nutritional quality, availability, and again, we know that our market is going to grow because as people feel better, they spread the word, and so we're looking to make sure we never fall short on any of the ingredients. Putting it together, I was looking to also produce something that did have a little bit of the taste and the essence and the flavour and the impact of wild foods. I want tart flavours because that's in a lot of wild foods. If it's sweet, okay, it's going to be sweet from good sugars, not just sucrose and fructose, which is the bad sugars. So everything had to earn its keep. And obviously, Kakadu plum, Kalari plum is the world's highest vitamin C fruit, even after 30 years now of research. That had to be there as a star figure. And over 50% of the whole blend of life is wild food.
I could actually listen all day to him.
It's so funny. We're both just watching the monitor like this, going, "Oh my gosh, it's just intriguing," and it's just interesting. Look, we all want to feel good. We all want to be healthy. We all want to look good and feel good. And it's an action that you need to do to basically help yourself feel better, and you can do it because we're offering you the chance to enjoy this great product. It's called Life. It's available right now, and all you've got to do is call us on 13 25 80. Go to openshop.com.au. Then item number is 00015, and it's available, of course, with free express delivery. This is an opportunity, if you're watching right now, to get something that could be hugely beneficial for yourself.
So there it is. I mean, we're talking about a life's work, literally, in life. So I think we should go and hear from Vic about what truly motivates him and what actually, at the end of the day, inspired him.
Life has been my life, and it's also been my lifestyle, and I'm so certainly eternally grateful to the Indigenous, the Aboriginal women, my aunties, who, you know, have given me skin names in some communities, or literally welcomed me into their home and to their hearth so many times, so that, you know, they've shared stories. And and I notice when many of my aunties start to speak very, very quietly, I know I have to listen, because they're saying something that's critically important. And they've even shared elements of women's business and the medicines and really the lifestyle and the knowledge that spans generations in both directions. That's what I've really highly valued most and foremost. And I'm also grateful, having worked in the Human Nutrition Unit at Sydney University, to have the degree of flexibility where what was a part-time job I was paid to do, you know, 2.5 days a week. I was able to contract that and then use my contacts within Sydney University Research Nutrition Foundation and the Royal Flying Doctor Service and NT Health and the roving dentist in Central Australia to get out there and spend the other half of my life travelling the communities, meeting these wonderful people who are so generous with their knowledge. And I'm grateful also to being able to put the knowledge back to those communities wherever I visited. I love to speak to the schools and the health workers and the medicos and the dentists to really get this overall conversation happening. Let's always remember that time is the most valuable resource that we have, and health is wealth.
That's such a good point. Health is wealth. And I love the fact that he's just taking all of that knowledge and just taking the education. He's preserving life, basically. Now, at the end of the day, do you seek health and longevity? Are you getting out of bed in the morning and you're just not feeling oomph? You've got a foggy head, you've not got the mental clarity, you're not feeling yourself. Do you crave life? A simple thing like adding this to your diet, 1 teaspoon a day, and it's just a little tiny change that you have to make. We're not saying go all or nothing. It's all about balance. We understand that, Vic understands that, but it's taking that first step, Steve.
It's all about basically adding something to your existing diet, as I mentioned before. It's simple, it's easy, and you can do it in a matter of moments. All you've got to do, if you want to try this one out, is call us on 13 25 80, tap the app, or go to openshop.com.au. Remember, we've got free express delivery. If this is your first order, you get 10% off, and you go in the draw to win a Mercedes-Benz, which is absolutely incredible. 30015. You said it before, Nikki, you can't put a price on your health. We are all busy, we've all got lots of things that we are doing, but do you know what? A small thing like this could be the first stepping stone for you to look better, feel better, and have a better life. And this is giving you everything that you need in one fabulous package. You know, we love it. Try it yourself and get it home.
Absolutely. 300015 is the item number, $89.95, just $3 a serve.
Well, from our home to yours, this is Shoppertainment.